y'all gave this my address. By sending a cease and desist, it's shutting down my business.
They got upset with me because I reached out to her and I was willing to give her a platform to tell her story. They didn't like it, and so they all stopped talking to me. And so I am not supposed to bring it up. I'm not supposed to say anything. The only thing that brings us together is the cameras.
The Braxton sisters just dragged their family drama to a level nobody expected, and it's getting messy in a way that doesn't look staged at all. Reality TV might be catching every second, but the real problems behind the scenes, they're only getting heavier with every episode. The cameras stay ready, but the healing definitely isn't happening. Instead, everything feels more chaotic, and Tamar is acting like she's standing in the middle of a storm with no umbrella.
I told Toni Braxton, I am getting Ashley here. And then when Toni said we need to have her on the show, I'm thinking like a producer.
I told you we need to have Ashley on the show.
No, I never say that. Yes, I never said that.
The energy between these sisters is so rough that even Toni, the calm, elegant one who rarely snaps, almost got physical. And that tells you everything. When Toni is fed up, you know the situation is spiraling fast.
I just thought it would be more than fair to talk to Ashley or maybe have her on the Braxtons so that everyone involved could talk. I didn't realize Tamar took it literally and now she thinks I'm intentionally lying.
Now let's break down how this whole disaster exploded. Tamar got hit with a cease and desist letter straight from her own family, which is wild because that's usually something you expect from enemies, not blood. A cease and desist basically says, stop now or deal with legal trouble. And getting that from your own sisters? That's next level tension. The reason?
I know where you live because I put down your down payment.
You sure did. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much.
You said I will pay you back the next day, and then you listed me as a creditor.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
So now it was a gift.
Oh,
so I give away $50,000.
It was $50,000?
So Tamar gave me money for my down payment in 2018. She gave me $35,000. I have receipts. It was absolutely a gift.
Tamar did an interview with her niece, Ashley Braxton, and that conversation lit a match under everything. Ashley has been speaking openly about serious issues from the past, specifically saying she experienced childhood abuse and claiming Trina's husband, Gabe, was sending her inappropriate messages when she was 16. Since she was a minor at the time, that accusation shook everybody instantly.
That's when I found out that I was a part of Tawanda's family plan. It was like 6 lines for 4 years. And I was paying for it all this time and didn't.
Ashley's words came out strong, and when she talked about those old messages, she said Gabe was sexting her and making her uncomfortable, and she didn't hold back at all. The moment she shared her story publicly, the whole family dynamic cracked wide open. Tamar giving her a platform caused the sisters to react hard, and instead of sitting down and talking like family, they jumped straight to legal paperwork, which made everything look even more dramatic. And trust me, this is just the beginning.
Because I found out that Tawanda has been using my credit card to pay her phone bill.
My phone bill?
I was getting a new phone line.
The Braxtons are unraveling in ways that make each episode feel like a whole new explosion waiting to happen. Let that sink in, because this whole situation flipped the room upside down. After all this came out, Trina completely cut Ashley off, which had everyone confused, because how do you cut off your own niece when the real issue was the behavior of a grown man?
Want to go blow to blow with me because I know where all the bodies are buried. And
it just doesn't add up, and people are still trying to understand why she pointed her anger in the wrong direction. Tamar only did that interview because she wanted Ashley to finally have a voice.
Help
But
me.
what you steal?
I don't steal anything.
You don't?
What I stole?
You sold men.
Who's the man that I stole?
Tony's. You slept with them
stop.
a few times.
Who? What man?
Stop.
What? Don't play with me, Tawana. You.
Tamar, shut
no,
up.
yes, you did. You're
That's
liar.
a lie.
No, that ain't true.
You know that ain't
true.
true.
Jesus.
everybody knew what was going on between Tamar and Tony's. ex or Tony's boyfriend. And Tamar brings a false accusation up to say that I slept with him too. That's on the wrong street. That is not my address. I don't have mileage on my coochie.
Tamar went through her own childhood trauma, so this hit her heart in a different way, and she wasn't about to let Ashley feel silence the way she once did. She truly believed she was helping by letting Ashley speak, and then out of nowhere, boom, a cease and desist pops up like a slap in the face. So Tamar confronts her sisters, and things turned explosive fast. Yes, Tamar was heated, but her sisters were playing with her head in a way that made everything 10 times worse.
I don't argue with sick people. Go ahead.
Bitch, I will you up. Don't play with me.
Do that.
I swear to God.
win.
But you're not going to do it for my mental health when all y'all really need the pills. Guess what you're not going to do? You're not going to make me feel bad because I've been diagnosed with depression and anxiety. From y'all. Y'all don't like me because y'all jealous.
You're a mean girl. You're
you're such a hater. I hate me so bad.
The mental illness is real. It's real.
Oh, I'm crazy?
Mental illness is real.
They sat there acting like they had no idea who sent the letter, pretending everything was a mystery, making Tamar feel like she was overreacting when she clearly wasn't. It was straight up gaslighting, and she felt it immediately. But here's the thing. The letter came from the family's lawyer, which means someone in that circle pulled the strings behind the scenes. And every sign points at their brother Michael being the one who set it in motion. The sisters didn't want Ashley talking either, not at all. And Trina especially did not want those claims surfacing because she had been pointing the finger at Ashley instead of holding her grown husband accountable. The whole situation shows how deep the denial runs in that family, and it's wild to watch it play out right in front of everyone. That right there is textbook victim blaming, and it hit the whole room like a shockwave. In the middle of the argument, Tamar said Tony was the one who suggested bringing Ashley onto the show, and Tony denied it straight to her face like she had never said a word.
What makes you so angry that you want to do that to your little sister? For Tawana to bring something up that happened in 1995, we're in 2025 right now. Help me understand.
Tawanda's getting married. We're supposed to be
Good for
all
Tawanda.
coming together as a
Tawanda
family.
hasn't talked to me since the last Braxton taping.
But then, when the confessional rolled, Tony admitted she did talk about it with Tamar, which showed she was saying one thing in private and something totally different on camera. Tony is trying to play both sides like she's invisible, but you can't play Switzerland in a family war, Tony. Not when everything is blowing up this badly. Trying to keep everyone happy has her slipping into dishonesty, and it only makes the whole situation look even more twisted. But the drama didn't stop there, not even close.
I'm gonna say my little 2 cents on the Braxtons because, as you all may well know, my last name is Braxton, and yes, those are my cousins. I'm gonna say this: Tawanda has always been jealous of Tony and Tamar. Tawanda has always been seen in the background as the background singer. So when it comes to the spotlight and the income and the money, there you have it. Pure jealousy. And everything goes all the way back and starts back with the head of the household. They were taught. Everything that you see these young ladies do on screen, this ain't for cameras at all. I got stories and stories of family reunions. This ain't for cameras at all. This is exactly how they act. Tawana has always been the messy and sneaky one, her and Trina. They have always been messy and sneaky. Their whole entire lives, this is how they are. And they've always been jealous of Tony and Tamar. Tony being the oldest, Tamar being the baby girl. They have always been jealous. And for the simple fact that your sister paid your down payment and you continue to keep dragging her, watch what Tamar do.
After the cease and desist mess, the conversation swerved straight into money talk, and that's when the tension hit a new level. Tamar said she once helped Tawanda with a down payment for a house, and Tawanda never paid her back, which instantly changed the whole mood in the room. Tawanda sat there claiming it was a gift, like it was just a sweet sister helping her out. No repayment needed, nothing to discuss. But Tamar shut that down immediately and said, absolutely not, making it very clear that money was a loan, not a donation, and she expected it back. And here's the thing, this isn't just Hasi said or random arguments flying around. When Tawanda filed for bankruptcy, the official documents listed Tamar as a creditor, which means the courts recognized Tamar as someone Tawanda owed money to. That detail alone threw the whole "it was a gift" story into question instantly. Every layer of this family conflict gets wilder by the minute, and the truth keeps slipping through cracks nobody expected. When Tamar said, "I know where you live," she wasn't playing, because that whole conversation proved the money situation was never just a gift. Legally, on paper, it was a loan. That means Tawanda wasn't being honest at all, and the paperwork shows it loud and clear. And because it went into the bankruptcy system, Tamar can't collect that money anymore, which only makes the whole thing messier. But hold up, because it doesn't stop there. Tawanda was also allegedly using Tamar's credit card to pay her phone bill without permission, which blew everyone's mind because Tamar said she found out time and didn't know. That means Tawanda had access she shouldn't have had, and she was running charges behind Tamar's back like it was no big deal. Tawanda clearly has some real money struggles, and the sisters keep stepping in to help her out, even though she stays acting like she can't stand Tamar at all. The wild part? Tawanda might have resentment toward Tamar, but she never seems to resent Tamar's money. The audacity is unreal. And when Tamar tried to talk about the money situation honestly, Tawanda immediately deflected like her life depended on it. Instead of owning up, she dragged up an old accusation from the 1990s, saying Tamar supposedly slept with one of Tony's men back in the day, with speculation saying it might have been Shamar Moore. That accusation hit so hard that Tawanda hasn't spoken to Tamar since filming wrapped. But here's what makes the whole thing even more unbelievable. Tawanda needs Tamar for the show to succeed because Tamar is the one viewers show up for. And right when the tension was already boiling over, things took a turn that should have never happened. In the middle of the argument, the sisters brought up Tamar's mental illness, using her past struggles as a weapon during a heated moment, and that crossed a line in a way nobody expected. It was one of the moments that left everyone stunned, because once mental health gets thrown in like that, the argument stops being just drama. It becomes something way deeper and way more damaging. That kind of move in a fight is low, beneath low, 6 feet under low, and everybody felt it instantly. You never throw someone's mental health back in their face during an argument, especially when that person has opened up publicly and shown real vulnerability. That crosses a line no family member should ever step over. During the Braxton taping, Tamar has spoken openly about her mental health journey, her past suicide attempt, and the work she's done to heal. So for her sisters to turn that into a weapon was absolutely unforgivable. That moment didn't just sting, it cut deep, and you could see it all over her face as the argument kept escalating. Now, yes, Tamar was triggered during the argument, without a doubt, and yes, she was acting erratically because the whole situation pushed her into a place she didn't want to be in. But does that automatically mean she was wrong about everything? No. Her reaction went too far, but her emotions about being betrayed and gaslit by the people closest to her were completely real. And then the whole thing crossed from emotional to physical in a split second. Tamar grabbed Trina's hair and kicked her, and the energy in the room flipped immediately. The moment that happened, Tony shot up like she was ready to protect her sister, and Miss Unbreak My Heart looked like she was about to break somebody's jaw that night. It shocked everyone because Tony rarely gets pulled into chaos like that. Look, Tamar's behavior was immature and totally out of line. Nobody can deny that. But let's not pretend the sisters were innocent angels because they weren't. They kept poking, pushing, and throwing comments that chipped at her until she couldn't hold her composure anymore. They lit the fuse, and Tamar reacted when everything finally exploded. The whole scene showed just how deep the hurt runs in this family and how fast things can get out of control when old wounds get reopened. So when Tawanda brought up that accusation about Tamar allegedly sleeping with Tony's ex, Tamar wasn't about to swallow that and stay quiet. Not a chance. She turned straight to Tony and asked if she really believed Tamar had been with so-and-so, and the moment she said it, the whole room froze. People believe she was talking about Birdman, and that alone made the whole situation explode even louder. Tamar fired back with, "Real! Oh, I'm crazy! Mental illness! It's real!" And the room shifted because she was calling out how quick they were to use her mental health against her. For anyone who doesn't know, rumors have floated for years that Tamar supposedly dated Birdman briefly in the early 2000s before he and Tony ever got serious. If any part of that is real, this is a messy history that nobody wanted dragged out on camera. And Tony's reaction? She snapped into protective mode instantly, aggressive, defensive, and ready to stand up for her relationship and her man's name. That reaction made everyone wonder if maybe those rumors had a little more weight than people assumed, because Tony looked pressed in a way you don't usually see from her. Once those accusations started flying all over the place, Trina and Tawanda jumped up like security guards for Tony. Trina stepped right between Tony and Tamar, trying to block anything from going further. But Tamar felt like she got pushed in the chaos. Now, whether she was actually pushed or just felt boxed in, we can't say for sure, but Tamar clearly felt cornered in that moment. And her response was instant. She physically attacked Trina, and the fight went from messy to volcanic in seconds. At that point, every sister in the room added fuel to the situation one way or another, and nobody walked out looking innocent. By the time that moment hit, it was clear every single person had crossed lines, broken trust, and said things that can't be taken back. The whole scene showed just how complicated and raw this family really is. This whole situation turned into a full-blown family disaster, the kind of meltdown you almost can't believe happened on camera. After the fight, Tawanda actually suggested pressing criminal charges on Tamar, real charges against her own sister. That shocked everyone because that's a level you usually see with strangers, not family. But Tony, to her credit, shut it down fast and said she wasn't calling the police on her sister no matter what. And honestly, that was probably the most clear-headed moment any of them had all night. So now the big question is hanging in the air. Why does Tawanda have such intense resentment toward Tamar? Tamar even looked at her like, "You two? Huh? Don't you go there. Don't!" Because she felt the tension hitting her directly. This isn't normal sibling energy, not even close. This is deep, layered, years-old resentment that clearly never got resolved. There are a few theories floating around, and they all point to long-standing issues. One big belief is that Tawanda never got over Tamar leaving the family group to chase a solo career. Tamar was the one who broke out, the one who caught attention, the one who built her own name, and the one whose reality show brought new relevance to the whole family. And maybe Tawanda feels like she missed out on chances she thought she deserved too. Then there's the middle child dynamic, which can hit harder than people realize. Growing up, Tawanda might have felt invisible. Tony was the superstar getting all the spotlight, and Tamar was the youngest getting attention just for being the baby of the family. Meanwhile, Tawanda sat in the middle like she was stuck between two strong identities that weren't hers. That kind of emotional positioning can create resentment that follows someone into adulthood. When you put all of that together, the career paths, the fame gaps, the childhood roles, it becomes clear this isn't just drama for the cameras. It's decades of unresolved feelings coming out in the worst possible way, and the fight only exposed how much pain has been sitting under the surface all along. Another theory people keep whispering about is the financial tension that's been simmering for years between the sisters. Tawanda has struggled with money more than the others, and Tamar has stepped in to help multiple times, which can create a heavy power imbalance in a family. When one sibling becomes the go-to fixer, it can stir up jealousy, pride, and pressure all at the same time. Some think Tawanda might feel embarrassed needing help, especially from a sister she already has resentment toward. That kind of pride mixed with hidden anger can twist into frustration that comes out in explosive ways, just like we saw on camera. And when Tamar started calling out the money situation openly, it probably hit Tawanda right where it hurts the most. Another layer people talk about is how Tamar's strong personality clashed with Tawanda's quieter, more controlled way of handling things. Tamar is loud, expressive, emotional, and unfiltered, while Tawanda tries to stay calm and collected, at least on the surface. That contrast can build tension over time because neither one feels understood by the other, and eventually it blows up in chaotic ways like we saw in that argument. There's also the fact that Tamar has always been the sister who gets attention just by walking into a room. She has the personality, the humor, the spark, the voice, and producers know she's the one who keeps viewers hooked. Meanwhile, Tawanda doesn't get that same kind of spotlight, and watching someone else become the fan favorite can quietly chip at your confidence if you're already dealing with insecurities. And let's be real. This family has been carrying emotional baggage since childhood, and every disagreement just drags those old wounds right back into the present. When you never deal with the past, it shows up in every fight, every argument, every misunderstanding, whether you want it to or not. So now Tawanda's resentment toward Tamar feels like a mix of old jealousy, hurt pride, unresolved childhood roles, and all the chaos adulthood added on top. And when you mix that cocktail with cameras, pressure, secrets, and money, you get exactly what we saw. A family clash that went way deeper than just one argument. What Tamar did has everybody looking around like, what Tam? Watch what Tamar do. Because this whole situation is getting too real to even call it entertainment anymore. At this point, it's hard to tell if they should keep filming the show at all, because it feels like we're watching a family fall apart right in front of us, and it's happening in real time with no breaks. But now I want to hear from you, because this story has so many layers that everyone sees it differently. Do you think Tamar had a reason to be angry, even if her reaction crossed the line? Do you feel like the sisters were gaslighting her and pushing her to a breaking point? And do you think Tawanda's resentment toward Tamar is ever going to fade, or is this something that's been building up for so long that there's no going back? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I want to know how you see all of this. And if you're vibing with the way we break down these wild stories, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on those notifications so you never miss the next deep dive because trust me, more mess is on the way. I appreciate every single one of you for watching and riding with me through this madness. And listen, if you really want the juiciest breakdowns, the wildest celebrity drama, and the most shocking story times on the internet, make sure you subscribe to Juicy Reel right now. You don't want to miss what's coming next.